Nazis conquer, Hitler, new chancellor, first democracy, that was a lie. Hitler took office and showed his suicide. All you gotta know is totalitarianism, new laws are made, most against Jews, some against gays, not fair but pay. Hitler was in charge, known as the Fuhrer. He hated everyone that wasn't Aryan. He wanted German purity in 1933. Germany had rules enforced by his army. SAS, Gestapo, all you gotta know is Hitler influence.
Let's go.
The new government's new laws. When Hitler ran for office, he claimed that he was for democracy. But once he took power, he became a dictator in a totalitarian government. At that time, German President Hindenburg noticed Hitler's radical policies. The president asked Hitler to exempt Jews from Jewish World War I veterans, their fathers and their sons, from the policy against Jews. Hitler praised the president's honorability, but countered the president's request by saying there were already too many Jews and aliens in Germany. On April 7, Hitler put in place the law for the restoration of the professional public service. That removed all non-Aryans from their jobs. However, he did obey the president's want for exemption. Hitler wanted to restore the civil service to true Germans. In result, there was a Jewish economic isolation, and in turn, this did legalize racism.
Changes in education. On March 15th, all Jews would be dismissed from campuses. This forced the students to turn against their classmates, and this was one of Hitler's first big public acts of anti-Semitism.
The Nazi troops. Hitler's two main military units were the SA and the SS. The SA were the enforcers of the Nazi laws, also known as stormtroopers. The SS was Hitler's secret service. Those were individually chosen SA members who were used for Hitler's personal protection and sometimes used as consultants. The Gestapo was Germany's secret state police. Their job was to protect public safety and order in Germany. They were allowed to use whatever method they wanted, ranging from simple interrogation to imprisonment in concentration camps.
Anna Rath. Anna Rath was an Austrian woman who wanted to marry and live with her Jewish fiancé. The Nazis found out, painted her face white to resemble a clown, and dragged her through the streets of Austria. This publicly humiliated her, and it was a way of the Nazis showing that if you disobeyed any of the laws that were put into place, that this could happen to you and that it wasn't acceptable.
Eliminating opposition. Hitler started noticing that some of the law enforcers were questioning and threatening his authority through their opposing views. On June 30th, 1930, an event known as the Night of Long Knives took place, where Hitler ordered more than 200 SA leaders to be killed for that reason. This event was never illegal because before word got out, Hitler got to his cabinet and forced them to legalize it. Also, the public always viewed this as positive because the SA increased fears throughout Germany, and eliminating some of them would bring back a sense of legality to the streets of Germany.
Targeting gay minorities. The picture that you see is Ernst Röhm, and he was one of the main leaders of the SA. He was gay and opposed some of Hitler's ideas and actions, making him one of the main targets of hate. He was one of the first people killed in Night of the Long Knives, and after Night of the Long Knives, the attacks on gays increased dramatically. Being homosexual was no longer treated as just a choice, it was treated as a crime, and they started to actually arrest people who were gay.
Targeting Jewish minorities. Preceding the boycott, there was a period in Germany known as the Good Years, between 1924 and 1929. During that time, it was considered that Germany had a pretty good economy. However, the unemployment rate for Jewish people was incredibly high. So, on Saturday, April 1st, 1933, Julius Streicher was instructed by Hitler to order Germans to boycott all Jewish businesses. In order to enforce this, a document was sent out with a list of lies about Jews so that no one would sympathize, so that the other German citizens would not sympathize for the Jews when they boycotted their businesses.
The book burnings. The first of many book burnings took place on May 6th. During this book burning, over 12,000 books were burned. The books that were burned are books written by Jews or that contained any ideas that the Nazi Party opposed. Since back then there were no computer copies of books and there weren't many copies of books to begin with, when they were burned, essentially it was erasing a part of history. Helen Keller wrote a letter to the Nazi Party stating, quote, "You can burn books, but you can't burn ideas." And this was just her saying that even though they're burning all the books, they can't burn the people's thoughts and ideas, and they can always rewrite the books, and the ideas are still going to be there no matter if the books are there or not.
Christianity in Germany. The Nazis wanted National Socialism to be the sole religion in Germany, even though it wasn't really considered a religion. The majority of the Germans at that time were Protestant, even though that religion actually wasn't accepted. The Catholics in Germany feared that they were going to be not considered real Germans because they took their orders from the Pope in Rome. In order to create one religion, Hitler started a church where people or members of it were called German Christians. Hitler's church was all about his ideas about religion. Anyone who disobeyed his ideas would be sent immediately to concentration camps. In an effort to combine Hitler's ideas and the Pope's ideas, there was a civil agreement called a Concordat, signed by Hitler and Pope Pius XI in July 1933. This was Hitler's first agreement, and it was good publicity for him because it demonstrated his ability to connect with other leaders. However, 10 days after the agreement was signed, the Nazis broke the pact when attacking the Christian Youth League. Given the religion of Judaism was neglected at this time in Germany, Dietrich Bonhoeffer and Martin Niemöller created a church called the Confessing Church, where Jews were welcome.
Eugenics. In July of 1933, the law for the prevention of hereditarily diseased offspring was put into place. This legalized the sterilization of anyone with mental or physical disabilities. And the reason that they did this is because they wanted a pure Aryan race and they didn't want anyone who could possibly weaken the next generation. So by sterilizing the women and men, it created so that they could not reproduce and create a weak generation.
In conclusion, as Hitler became the sole leader of Germany after the death of President Hindenburg on August 2nd, 1934, his changing of the oath was one of the many examples of how his influence as dictator changed Germany as a nation forever.